here's what I want you to do, all right? You guys can do this in your chairs, or you can do it, you can want to stand up if you have enough room. We're just going to stretch out a little bit, all right? Just do exactly what I do. Put your hands out here. Put your hands up here. Shake it out. Stretch. You already did it. Well, you're doing it again. Stretch it out. Now I want you to bend over. Now if you can touch the floor, now do exactly what I do. All right. All right. Everybody stay up. Stay up for a little bit. You guys good? Stretch. All right then. All right. Thank you. Now, while you're here, no, why don't you stay here? Why don't you stay here? I need one more volunteer. We're talking about the Guinness Book of Records today. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but when I was a kid, I always wanted to get into the Guinness Book of Records for something, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I had to go through the book, look through the pages. I probably looked through it when I was in elementary school and not paying attention. And so, it's actually, I know her from school a long time ago. So I would go through the book and think, what can I do? What am I good at? That's why I call it everyone has a talent, because you might find one talent that you're good at and it can take you to a lot of different places and meet a lot of different people, as silly as the talent might be, right? So I'd go through the book, and the first record that I thought I could break, it was called the marshmallow toss, where someone threw a marshmallow, threw it across the field, another guy caught it in his mouth, right? And it was for the longest distance. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna practice this. And I got my friends over here, and I said, you know, if I stand here and she's over there 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, I think we just keep backing up. So I'm gonna see if she can still do this. So we used to practice this. Are you ready? Open your mouth, head back. Oh! Now, I know Mimi's done this before. She's very good. Oh! Does anybody else think they can do this? Oh, I'm going to give them one more try. What? You ready? No, focus. Focus. Oh! Come on, Mimi, you got it. Come on. Mimi, again. You got it. Oh! Well, you can see how hard this can be. She got it. Oh! You want to try it? Oh. All right. Well, I'll give you one more try each. All right. This is it. This is for all the marbles. Oh! I know. All right. Well, thank you for that attempt. I thought we'd get somebody to. It's not as easy as it looks. So then I thought, you know, what else can I do? What's that?
What is the record?
For the marshmallow?
Yeah.
Well, it was, it's not now. This was years ago. It used to be like, it was like 50 yards. And I don't know how they got to throw a marshmallow. I think they actually threw it off a roof, but that's another story. So then oh, you're going to give it back to me? Oh. A little higher. Then I thought, you know, I saw this record in the book for juggling. Yeah, and I thought, what if I learned how to juggle? All right, and I said I had never juggled before. So I thought, well, went to the fruit bowl, and I said I started practicing. That's one. Maybe if I can do one, maybe I can do two. Oof. All right, do two, maybe I can do three. Right? So the record for juggling 3 objects without dropping them was 7 hours. So if you guys have enough time, we could. So I got pretty good at juggling. And when people say, how do you get into the Guinness Book of Records? I always say, you got to practice. Practice, practice. And so I'd practice all the time. Sometimes I'd forget to eat my lunch. Whoa. Excuse me. I got pretty good at it, but not good enough to actually get into the book. So then I saw a record for walking on your hands, 50-yard dash across the field in the fastest time. But again, I'd never walked on my hands. So what do I have to do? I had to go out and practice. So I started out, I could only take 1 or 2 steps. All I could do when I first started was this. That's all I could do, and I thought, well, if I can do 1 step, I can do 2 steps. If I can do 3 steps, I can do 4 steps. And eventually I was able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, across the room. I said, well, I had to go 50 yards, so you have to come up with some different little games. So I thought if I can go forwards, maybe I can go backwards. Backwards. And I got pretty good at it, but 50 yards is a long way. So I eventually got into the book for walking on my hands 50 yards. See if this works. This was 1995, the Guinness Book of Records. So, and once you get into the Guinness Book of Records, which, I mean, obviously is a world book, but you don't always think of it like that, because you think, oh, it's kind of local, but it goes around the world. So my name gets in the book, my picture gets in the book, and this is what I'm saying, like, you have this one talent, you don't know where it's going to take you. Excuse me. So I started getting phone calls from different places, like around the world. I got a phone call from Italy and said, do you want to come be on a game show? I was like, well, okay, you know. Then the Guinness Book of Records called me and said, do you want to be on one of our shows, our television shows? They used to have the Guinness Book of Records show. I don't think they have it anymore, but they said, we want you to do something else. We want you to walk down stairs on your hands. So I said, well, what's the record? It was like 75 steps going down. And they said, we want you to do it in Philadelphia. So I have some video of that, if you guys want to see that. This was remember the Rocky stairs they did in the movie? Yeah, and this was part of that.
Mark moved from practicing at home to practicing on the street.
Old videos.
All in preparation for his attempt to set a record as the world's fastest inverted stair walker. But he wasn't going to race down just any stairs. He was going to race down the world's most famous stairs, the ones outside the Philadelphia Art Museum, immortalized by Sylvester Stallone in the movie Rocky.
I was a lot younger.
72 steps and 5 wide terraces, a mountain of concrete and stone rising 33 feet straight up and dropping at an angle of 20 degrees. Our Guinness crew cleaned up any debris that might trip him up.
I've cut my hands a lot on different things. A piece of glass, sharp rock, anything. You can get a pretty good cut if you're not careful.
Mark was ready. The rules call for him to start on his hands at the top step and race down to the bottom without stopping or touching the ground with his feet.
Try not to think about it, because the more you think about it, then the more nervous you might get, or the more worried you might get. So you just do it and don't even think about it.
On your mark.
Mark's in position.
Set. Go.
And he's off. He's going all out, pushing the limits. Very confident in his stride, hand over hand, hitting the edge of each step as he races down.
Yeah, Mark.
Mark picks up speed on the terraces, then pulls back when he hits the stairs. Even with his back arched and legs dangling over his head, Mark appears in complete control. The pounding of his hands on the pavement has to be taking a toll, but Mark shows no signs of holding back. There's the final terrace. Only 13 steps left for a Guinness record. Yes, he's done it in an unbelievable 39.04.
So that was the first, kind of the first show, one of the shows that I was on. And so that, spins off onto something else. One thing goes on to the other. So I'm not even sure what the next slide is, but we'll see. Where's our next slide? Where's my guy? Hold on.
Mark moved from practicing at home.
There it is. Okay, so do you remember Regis? Okay, yeah. They said, do you want to do the same record, but do it on our show? And I said, Well, sure, but the trick was here, they wanted to do it inside the building, so you have to go around corners, which makes it a little bit harder, right? And I put this clip in here, and I'll show you the other one. This is when I came out. This was kind of funny. It kind of embarrassed Kathy Lee because she was wearing a skirt, and I came out upside down. So this is just the beginning. This is only about 10 seconds.
2 hands. You might say he has...
Well, there aren't too many of them.
That's right. You might say he has his hands full holding 2 world records. The 50-meter hand dash in 16.9 seconds.
You could win a sidecar for that.
Walking down 77 stairs in 39.04 a second. So here he is, Mark Kennedy, everybody. Mark, can you fist back up a little bit?
No, this is fine.
Mark getting his eyes full there. Sit down right here.
Stand up?
No, sit down. Mark took...
That wasn't my idea.
No, I know that. It was filming.
How close do you want to get, for crying out loud?
So wait for it goes back.
2 hands. You might say he had...
Okay, so before we move on, just so you guys know, if you have any questions at all, we'll talk at the end too, but if you have any questions during this, just yell them out. Just ask me questions. So this is the actual stairs. You have a question?
Yeah, I've gone down those stairs at the Philadelphia Art Museum. I'm pretty sure I would have tripped. Is that the word you would use if you're walking on your hands? Is it tripped, or is there a different word?
Trip or fall? Or stumble, or, yeah.
Do people who walk on their hands use different terminology?
Not that I know of, but I would say, yeah, I would say fall. I wouldn't say trip, because if you fall down the stairs, you're falling down the stairs. Continue to. But so this is the stairs up at the studio at Regis and Kathy Lee at the time. And I talked to Regis.
Make sure it's an official record, okay?
All right, whatever you want to do it.
Okay, Mark?
All set.
All righty, we're ready.
I'll kind of get you. So want me to hold anything? Got anything in your pocket you want me to hold for you?
Wallet.
Not bad, all right.
My dollar.
$1 and a comb.
Hotel key.
Your hotel key. All right, Mark.
All right, ready.
Whenever you're ready, babe. You get in position and I'll count you down. On your mark.
So get set.
Get set. Go.
You did it, kiddo. Way to go. Congratulations.
Let me wipe this off.
Okay.
Some dirt on
Yeah, our floors are real clean.
And this is the man that makes it official?
Way to go.
All right, so that was the second one. That was actually that last staircase I didn't have to do that one. That was already. That's an excellent question. It's what I did was repetition. Just go down the stairs over and over and over and over again. Down, go back up, go down, back up, go down, 15, 20 steps and go back up. Yeah.
Go back up on your hands?
Yeah. Oh, and she knows my mother. So she used to say, I used to knock all the family pictures off the wall going down the stairs, which was true.
Does the height of the riser make a difference to you, or you have a standard height?
Absolutely. And I was going to, I don't know why this is.
Make sure it's an official rec. Make sure it's an official rec.
Okay. Yes, it does. It does. And that's why, depending on where you're doing it, where you're doing the record, and I'm going to show you another one in a little bit, where the steps were deeper, but there was no corners. So, yeah, I think most of them are about 7 inches, and the last ones I did, almost 9. but I'll show you about that. So just moving on, then I got a call from a place in Taiwan. It was Taichung, Taiwan, and they had a museum. And they had a Guinness Book museum, but it was in Taiwan, and the guy called me, and I said, what are you talking about? And he said, do you want to come over and work in the museum? It's, an outside area, it's like a park, and they had all these different things. And so I said, well, sure. So I went over there for 3 months, and I got there, and to my surprise, they had already put up this statue on that's the statue, and that's me, you can't see the sign, but because we're in Walpole, I like to know that somewhere in Taiwan, in the corner of that sign, it says Norwood, Mass. so, yeah. And so now, so I'm over there, and they say, now we're going to have a special guest to cut the ribbon for the museum. Now, I'm in Taiwan. I have no idea what these people are talking about. And they said, we want you to escort the person across the park. So I said, okay, whoever that might be. Remember Margaret Thatcher? So Margaret Thatcher, she was probably just out of power, and she fell fast because she went from, Prime Minister of England to following some clown on his hands across a park, right? So I always thought that picture was funny. Then I got a call from Japan. And this is why I'm trying to emphasize the fact that if you have a silly talent, it can take you all across, the world. And this was just, I don't know if this is even plays, this is an old video, but this was just like a promotion for one of their game shows. It's in Japanese, so you won't even...
3度のランチより逆立ちが好きだという奇特な男である。1994年には50メートル逆立ちスプリントで16秒93という驚異的な記録をマーク。日頃はマサチューセッツで議員秘書をして働いているというが、とてもそんな固い仕事をしているとは思えない。だが、そんな彼が世界一のプライドをかけて対決したい男がいると。
We have a question? Yeah.
Yeah. When you went to Taiwan and perhaps Japan, did they pay for your entire expenses, everything?
Yes. Wow. Yes. And that's what...
Taiwan, 3 months, right?
Yeah. So a lot of people ask, when you get in the Guinness Book of Records, do they pay you to be in the book? No, they don't pay you to be in the book, but because you're in the book, somebody might call you and say, hey, we'd like you to come and do this show or game show or whatever. And then they pay for your trip and your expenses, and sometimes they'll give you some cash. Usually not a lot. Japan did pay. They paid like a lot of money because, I don't know, it was a big television program. But most places will just pay for your trip and your expenses that I found. And I didn't really promote myself at all. I mean, I didn't have an agent or anything. I just kind of waited for people to call. So this is sticking a little bit, but we're going to see if we can move it along. Anybody know how to use this? There we go. I don't know, I have to hit that twice, but okay, so you remember David Letterman? So I had an actual friend send in a letter, or they called the David Letterman Show, and they said we should have this guy on. So do you remember he used to do stupid human tricks? Well, I was a stupid human. They called up and they said, what can you do? We know you do hand walking. Do you want to come on the show? And I said, well, sure. So I got there, and they had this rehearsal, and I was supposed to do a treadmill. I got on the treadmill and walked on the treadmill on my hands, and I thought that was pretty good. And the producer said, that's okay, but we want something a little, more exciting, or better, or whatever, more, vibrant. I don't know what he was looking for. But I said, well, what about that staircase in the corner? There's like a spiral staircase, which is very difficult because there's no edge on one side of the steps coming if you ever go down spiral staircases. It's almost, I didn't know I could do it. And he said, yeah, that would be great. Why don't you come right before the show and you can practice. And I said, okay. So I got there, and they said, we're so far behind, you can't practice. We're too busy. So this was the David Letterman Show. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I'll just play that for you.
20 minutes south of Boston.
Boston's a great town, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, we were up there about a year ago. Had a wonderful, wonderful time.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. What do you do up there for a living?
I do video production and editing.
Ah, good for you. Making a lot of money?
No.
Really? I thought you know what the future is, designing websites. That's what I do on the weekend. Yeah. Mark, what is your trick tonight?
Well, I'm going to come down your spiral staircase in a different sort of way.
All right, the spiral staircase right over there. Is
Right
it
over
secured? Can the guy do this? He won't do it because we don't need another lawsuit. You know what I mean? Okay, you want to? Well, I guess we're going to go. We'll be over by the spiral staircase. You want, Mark? You want some music? You want some talc? You want the rubber gloves? What do you want?
Yeah, sure. Anything would be good.
Okay, anything would be good. How about some crackers? All right, this is Mark Kenny from Norwood, Massachusetts, coming down the stairs in a rather unorthodox fashion. There we go. Oh, well, here we go. This has got litigation written all over it. Motion instant replay. Here we go. Mark Kenny. My goodness. Man, this is... You look like you could snap me like a twig.
All right. Any questions? Before, yeah.
It looks like you're not wearing any hand protection.
I'm not.
So what's to me, that would be the first thing I think of is how can I protect my hands?
Inside is fine. The only time you really have problems if you're outside, like on cement or, on the dirt or something. But inside, I've been doing it for a long time. This is fine. That's staircase, fine.
That staircase looked like a rusty old piece of junk. I would have thought that would have been tough on your hands.
No, well, the actual part where you're putting your hands was wood. And that part was okay. But the side railings are all, that's from the Ed Sullivan Show. That's the same studio. Yeah. So that goes back. I'm not even sure what's the next slide here. I don't know why this is making me do it twice. All right, so, okay. So then, Ripley's, believe it or not, and the Guinness book, I think they're owned, one of them owns the other one. I think Ripley's actually owns the Guinness book. So they have a lot of the same, crossover with people and sometimes shows and stuff. So they called and said, we're going to open up a museum in New York City. Do you want to come and do some tricks or whatever? Right. So this is just a picture of me in New York on top of a car or something. So then the Ripley's people said, hey, do you want to do a stunt for us? And I said, well, sure, what is it? And they said, we want you to go down a building. Like, you didn't have to go down the whole at the same time, but like within an hour and a half. They wanted to get one of the tallest buildings in the world and say that they had this guy walk on his hands down the building. So they called the Sears, what's the one in Chicago? Sears Tower? Yeah, and they said, no, you can't do it. We don't want that guy in our building. So then they called the World Trade Center in New York. And they said, sure, but you have to come at night when there's nobody in the building, except the workers that are there to clean it. So this was the show from the World Trade Center. This is probably a year or two before, it got hit. I'm not sure exactly.
Now Mark's back in New York to meet his greatest hand-walking challenge, the World Trade Center. Daily workplace to over 60,000 and twice as tall as any building he's walked before. That means twice as many steps, 2,223 to be exact. Mark's wife, Mary, accompanies him on all his hand walks, acting as a coach and cheerleader. Having finally made their way to the roof, Mark's moment of truth is at hand.
We ready?
Yeah. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Mark flips his feet over his head and begins. With 110 flights of stairs to go, Mark definitely has his hands full.
Good job. And we're off the roof.
Practically running down the stairs, Mark makes it look easy.
That's all right.
But by the 81st floor, he's already drenched in sweat. At the 67th floor, fatigue begins to set in.
It's more of your arms just give up, because your arms really aren't made for standing on that long of a period of time.
At 45 minutes, Mark is halfway home, but exhaustion forces him to rest. His hands, blistered and cracked, are taking an incredible beating. After a quick tape job, he's back up.
Get to it.
What's most important now is for Mark to keep moving. Otherwise, the pain from his torn up hands might force him to quit. The 21st floor, Mark must remain completely focused. A slip up now would mean failure and a face full of cement. Only a few floors left, and Mark explodes with a burst of reserve energy.
All right. That's like we're in the 50s.
3 floors left.
All right, 30 seconds.
Determined and looking strong, Mark powers his way around the final corner. And he's done it.
In 1 hour and 26 minutes.
A group of building workers join in for a spontaneous victory celebration. Mark can now add the World Trade Center to his list of hand-walking achievements. And though he knows walking on his hands will never make him rich, he has earned his bragging rights.
But I guess I can say I'm the best.
You're the best.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so.
We'll be right back.
All right, now where are we now? Any questions on that? I'm just trying to. Hour and 26 minutes, yeah. Which is. Yeah, a few days. Yeah, maybe a week. Just want to get to the next slide. I'm not sure why this is.
Now Mark's back in New York.
Okay. All right. Oh, sure. You would think it's hard on your back, but it really isn't. It's actually. It's not your back. It's more your shoulders. Your back is just kind of floating down down the stairs or down the road or wherever you're walking. The wrist, I think I've gotten kind of lucky because I have been doing it so long. I kind of built up kind of strength in my wrist that I haven't never had any wrist issues, which is, maybe that's probably unusual. Yes, you in the front. I tell people this and they don't believe me, but once you first go upside down, you get like this head rush, and then it seems to go the opposite direction, and it just cycles around and goes the other way, and then it's really strange. If you're up there long enough, it takes about 30 seconds, and then it clears.
Then it feels normal to you?
Yeah. Yes.
Your sister said you were dizzy all your life.
Well, she's probably right.
Do you think that you were just lucky that you were predisposed to this, or that anyone could have done it if they practiced enough and really committed themselves?
I think I have pretty good balance, generally speaking. I have pretty good balance, but I also think that if you practice something enough times, you can do it. I've seen, if you ask any, not that I'm a professional athlete, but if any professional athlete, how they got where they are, they all say they practice hours a day.
Well, I think you're a professional athlete.
Oh, well, I don't get paid like one, but that's okay.
Mark, didn't you also wrestle?
Yes, I did. Yeah, so I wrestled in high school, and I used to walk on my hands on the wrestling mat and stuff, and so that that helped the whole balance thing too.
Another question. So once you got into the Guinness Book of Records, did you keep looking for other things you could set records in?
Well, yes, but all hand walking stuff. There's one more coming up at the end, and I will show you that in 1 minute. So this, and someone asked us about the depth of the stairs. The Gillette Stadium, if you ever went over to Gillette Stadium, they redid the stairs, the CBS stairs, and then there's the ones on the side. They redid them, and they got rid of them. But I was turning 50 and I was looking for a record to do. And so I was going to try to do the stair record again, the one from the Kathy Lee and Regis show. And I thought, well, I won't have to go around corners if I can find a staircase that's pretty much straight down. And I found one right over here at Gillette. And this is the staircase. You might recognize it. I don't think it's there anymore because they reorganized the area. But this is the staircase. And these stairs, I think, were straight down, but like 9 inches deep, where most of them, I think, are about 7. So this was a little more difficult, but it worked out. So we got some people together, and we went over there, and I talked to the people that were that run the outside, the management and stuff. And he said, "Well, sure, you can do this. We'll let you do it here at the outside the stadium." And so I went over the day before. So I was almost 50, and I went in to the office and I said, "I'm here to check out the stairs for the hand walking event tomorrow." And there was a couple of young kids working in there, and they said, "Oh, that's great. Yeah, we heard about that. That sounds like fun. Where's the guy that's going to do it?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to do it." They're like, "No, the guy that's going down the stairs upside down." And I said, "No, it's me." They're like, "Oh, I got to see this," he said. So I don't know if so. I probably didn't look like he was expecting, but this is what happened. It just starts right up after this sign. A friend of mine put that sign up that's on Route 1. And then I'm at the top of the stairs, if you can see.
Lines of you, correct?
Right up there.
Am I good?
Yeah, I don't even know how to stop.
So that was, like I said, that was the staircase over at Gillette. And I think I have one more video, unless anybody has any more questions.
How about going upstairs? That seems like a different set of muscles. Are you ever successful going up?
Yeah, I did go upstairs. I used to, like when I was practicing, I'd try to go up the stairs. Like I could go up a staircase upstairs. Probably one at a time, maybe 15, 20 stairs, which is, it's kind of difficult. It's not so much a different muscle as a different angle positioning your body, because you're kind of leaning way forward and trying to get up the step. I don't know why that keeps doing that. All right, so someone asked me if I tried to do anything else other than walking downstairs or going across the field. So this is one of the last slides. I saw a record in there where somebody pulled a car upside down. And there's a camp down in Whitman that I used to go to and talk to the kids and stuff. And I thought, well, this would be a great place to do it. So this was just a few years ago. So I look a little bit more like I do now. I did in some of those other pictures. But so I got my friend's car, and we had to go weigh it at one of those trash places. You know, the place where you empty your trash and they weigh your car. So I said, I need my car weighed. The guy said, come on in. And we weighed the car, and we brought it up, and I got a strap, and this is what it looked like.
Let's go. Let's try.
Camp is healthy. Ready. Set. Go.
Come on. Let's go.
Pull up to this line.
Keep going. Yeah.
So that was, if you saw, that was a blue line. I only had to pull it like 5 meters. But I mean, you still had to pull a car. right? And I think that was, I think that might have been, I think that might have been the last slide. And so this is what I tell people, you know, everyone has a talent. If you have one thing that you can do, it could take you around the world. So that's, if you guys have any questions, we can chat. Thank you. Yeah.
I have no idea how old you are, but how much longer do you think you can do something like this?
That's a really good question.
No, I seriously wonder. Because you know, as you get older, you know, your balance is different, and you know, I mean, you're in great shape, but how? I don't know. You probably don't know.
No, I don't know, but I feel pretty good. I haven't had any injuries, or you know, real injuries, because I haven't fallen that much. Yeah. But I think part of it is, for me anyways, if I keep my weight down, yeah, I can continue to do it. Because you know, like I said, my wrists are fine. And there's people that do stuff. You know, you see these people on, you know, TV and YouTube that all ages doing all kinds of things. I mean, is Tom Brady still playing? No? He's, no. Yeah, yeah.
If you'd had an opportunity to devote this kind of time and commitment to something else, except on Guinness World Record, what would you have done?
Probably finance. If I invested my money and, you know, and studied it as much as I studied this, I probably would have a lot more money today. That's a good question. Yeah.
Do the records still stand?
As far as I know, the 50-yard dash one does, and the car one, and the staircase, they broke it up. I had 77 steps, but I did see somebody break a record on 50 stairs. So, yeah, that's right. Doesn't count. So, but there's so many records now. It's kind of crazy, but it's fun.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Does anybody have a talent they want to come up and show us? Do you want sing, dance?
You're my walker from here to the door.
Well, let's do it. that's a new record.
When I was in the 4th grade, the gym class, we were doing handstands, right? And I got up on my hands perfectly straight and all that, and the rest of the class did what they were going to do, and finally the teacher said, Gloria, you can come down now. I've been up there so long. But that wasn't a talent. That was just being a kid.
No, that's a talent. Yeah. You still got it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've spent a lot more time than most of us upside down. Have you learned anything looking at the world from?
No, but I've found a lot of loose change. Yeah, a lot more loose change than most people. So you got to keep your eyes open. It's everywhere.
How many hours in a week do you practice?
I probably, it's just like anybody else. Like somebody else goes out for a jog, I'll go walk on my hands for half an hour. Probably like half hour a day. You know, half hour to an hour.
Do you do it every day?
I try to. You know.
Is that part of like your workout?
Yeah, that's kind of the workout. You know, I might do something else, but usually for me, I'm doing the handstand stuff for a little bit. Yes, sir.
What's the steepest angle that you've come down?
I guess the angle would have to be the spiral staircase on that show, on the Letterman Show, because you're just going straight down. They were, yeah. That was probably the hardest thing. What's that?
And you didn't practice?
No, I didn't have time. I had seen the stairs before, not those stairs, but you know, other spiral staircases. I may have done a couple of steps, but I haven't done those yet.
Yes. So I noticed your hands were kind of like on the edge of each stair.
Yeah.
So did that make it easier or harder to come down?
Easier, because you're actually grabbing the edge of the step with your hands, with your fingers, and that's kind of what is holding on. So you got to make sure you hit it just right. That's the whole thing. The timing of it. So you asked me how long I would probably still do this. I think I'll be able to walk on my hands for a long time, but I probably won't do stairs as much, because once you're on top of a staircase and you get tired, there's no way to. You have to get to the bottom. or else.
My granddaughter is at age 10 has just hit the wall in her gym class. She's a competitive gymnast, and the question is, how much more of this can she actually do at the age of 10 before she says, I can't do this, and she hits the mental block of not being able to do this next exercise at her age. And so she's talking with sports psychologists and so forth. My question to you is, when have you hit the wall in terms of whether you can do this next challenge or not? And how many times have you fallen literally heels over head and tried to yourself?
Well, I haven't. You mean like in training or practicing?
Or even in exhibition?
I haven't fallen that many times. Practicing I have. Practicing on the staircase especially because, you're trying to exhaust yourself to get to that point. Like if you're doing any training. So you get down the stairs and you only get a few left and you have to kind of roll down the last couple. But your question about mentally thinking of pushing yourself to the next level, I've always found that the best way to do that, and you can tell her this, is to change your training routine. Because if you're training the same way over and over and over, that's when you're gonna get that mental block. But if you say, okay, I need a new type of training, something different, a different way to look at it, like I started just using different types of mats and foam rubber and stuff to walk on, which was a whole new level.
How old were you when you started this?
I was probably about 12. Yeah, probably about 12, yeah. About 12 years old and then, oh yeah. Yeah. All right, well, any more questions? Are we good? Want to see one more demonstration? Do you want to get the door? Had so much fun today, and I know a lot of these people in here. Mrs. Goggin, Gary. Thank you. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, can he still do it? Thank you. Nice to do it.